is a champion in the unrivaled that virtually no one watched. People immediately took to social media and Twitter and started posting, look at what Angel Reese has accomplished. She has a national championship at LSU. She was the rebounding queen of the WNBA. Now she has a championship in the unrivaled, and she's Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, what an...
This wasn't a bad game. This wasn't a missed shot. This wasn't even about basketball anymore. This was a public execution. 1 minute, Angel Reese was being paraded as a champion, a face of the culture, a movement bigger than the scoreboard. The next minute, Jason Whitlock lit the match and the entire illusion caught fire in real time. No mercy. No filter. No soft landing. Just a brutal question echoing across sports media like a gunshot. What did Angel Reese actually earn? Because while headlines screamed champion, the footage told a different story. No playoff minutes, no finals appearance, no sweat on the floor when it mattered most. And Whitlock didn't whisper that contradiction, he shouted it. He ripped through the narrative, tore apart the media protection, and said out loud what millions were already typing but were afraid to say. And suddenly, the internet snapped. Clips resurfaced. Absences were exposed. FaceTime celebrations turned into punchlines. Fans stopped clapping and started asking, how do you claim a crown you didn't bleed for? How do you celebrate a title you didn't show up to defend? And why does the media keep pretending Angel Reese is on the same planet as Caitlin Clark when one moves ratings and the other moves arguments? This wasn't criticism. This was a credibility crisis. Because when Jason Whitlock aimed at Angel Reese, he wasn't just attacking her, he was attacking the entire machine that built her up without accountability. And once that machine started cracking, the noise turned into panic. Because if this narrative falls apart, what else was never real? And the scariest part, this was only the beginning. Angel Reese didn't come into this league quietly. She arrived with noise, history, and a chip on her shoulder the size of the spotlight, from LSU to the pros. Her story was sold as defiance, confidence, and culture. She wasn't just a player. She was framed as a symbol, the villain to some, the hero to others. And for a while, the narrative worked. Every rebound was framed as dominance. Every stare was framed as power. Every quote became a headline. But behind the branding, the pressure was building. Angel Reese learned early that attention cuts both ways. The national title at LSU didn't just crown her, it marked her. From that moment forward, everything she did was measured against Caitlin Clark. Not fairly, not quietly, constantly. One was praised for shooting, the other was praised for presence. One moved numbers, the other moved debates. And the media leaned into it hard, sometimes too hard, protecting the story instead of questioning the substance. That's where the tension started to rot from the inside. Angel leaned into the image. Podcasts, social media, quotes about changing the game, claims that it wasn't just Caitlin carrying women's basketball. She said the hate didn't bother her. She said she welcomed the villain role. But the truth is, living inside a character is exhausting, especially when performance doesn't silence the noise. Especially when the cameras keep rolling even when the results don't match the hype. Then came Unrivaled. A league sold as revolutionary, marketed as elite, pushed as proof that Angel Reese was bigger than the WNBA itself. And at first, the media ran with it. Champion, Defensive Player of the Year, more trophies for the resume. Except there was one detail no one wanted to say out loud. Angel Reese didn't play when it mattered most. She missed the final games. She wasn't on the floor for the championship. She wasn't grinding with her teammates in the moments that decide legacies. And yet, the celebration still centered her. FaceTime appearances, victory laps, headlines that blurred participation with presence. That's when Jason Whitlock entered the story like a wrecking ball. Whitlock didn't attack softly. He attacked the contradiction. He questioned the honesty of the coverage. He asked why Angel Reese was being crowned for something she didn't physically finish. And, unlike anonymous trolls, Whitlock had a microphone, an audience, and zero fear of backlash. For Angel, this wasn't just criticism. It felt like betrayal. Because the same media voices that once amplified her suddenly went quiet. Clips went viral without context in her favor. The internet flipped. Fans started comparing effort instead of vibes. Caitlin Clark's name resurfaced in every argument, not as a rival, but as a standard, and that hurt. Because Angel Reese's story was built on being undeniable. On proving she belonged in every conversation, on being seen as equal, not secondary. Whitlock's criticism didn't just challenge her resume, it challenged her identity in the game. And once doubt enters the room, it doesn't leave easily. By the time the dust started to rise, Angel wasn't just defending a season, she was defending her entire narrative. And the scary part, the loudest voices were no longer hers. The moment Jason Whitlock said her name, everything changed. This wasn't a random podcast clip or a faceless Twitter troll. This was a veteran media voice publicly questioning Angel Reese's credibility. And he didn't whisper it. He said it loud. He said it slow. And he said it in a way that forced everyone to stop pretending. Whitlock didn't just criticize her game. He challenged the entire machine around her. He asked why Angel Reese was being celebrated for championships she didn't finish, moments she didn't physically deliver, an impact that couldn't be proven by numbers or viewership. That hit harder than any missed layup because for the first time, the criticism wasn't emotional, it was structural. Whitlock went straight at the media narrative, accusing outlets of manufacturing greatness instead of reporting reality. He compared Angel's unrivaled championship moment to real pressure moments. Real finals, real stars who show up when the lights are brightest. And the internet didn't push back the way it usually does. Instead, it paused. Clips circulated. Quotes spread. Fans started asking uncomfortable questions they had been trained not to ask. Why wasn't she there for the final games? Why did the ratings collapse around her games? Why does the coverage never match the results? That's when the first shocking twist exploded. Instead of defending Angel Reese aggressively, the same media ecosystem that once shielded her hesitated. No unified response. No coordinated ESPN segments softened. Analysts pivoted to context. Commentators suddenly talked about team dynamics and off-court value. And that silence spoke louder than any insult. Because silence is what happens when a narrative starts cracking. Angel felt it immediately. Her social media tone shifted. The confidence stayed. But the edge sharpened. Subtweets appeared. Likes disappeared. Interviews became guarded, and behind the scenes, sources started whispering that she was furious. Not just at Whitlock, but at the people who didn't rush to shut him down. To Angel, it felt like being pushed onto a stage and then abandoned mid-performance. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's shadow grew without her saying a word. That's the part no one expected. Clark didn't respond. She didn't celebrate. She didn't engage. She just played basketball and kept drawing numbers, crowds, and respect. And that contrast became devastating. Whitlock didn't even need to hype Clark directly. Fans did it for him. They started comparing reactions, not personalities. Impact, not presence. Proof, not slogans. And the numbers backed it up. Viewership charts, attendance spikes, merchandise sales. The receipts started flooding time. Every argument Angel once won with energy, she was now losing to data. And the most painful part, it wasn't coming from haters. It was coming from neutral fans who just wanted honesty. Then came the real twist. Reports began circulating that Angel Reese was frustrated with how unrivaled was being perceived, that she believed the league failed to properly market her, that she felt used as a symbol without being protected when criticism arrived. Whether true or not, the perception stuck. Suddenly, the story wasn't about Angel Reese being attacked. It was about Angel Reese losing control of the story she helped build. Whitlock capitalized instantly. He doubled down, saying the backlash proved his point, that real stars don't need protection, that real greatness survives scrutiny, that if Angel Reese wanted to be mentioned with Caitlin Clark, she had to accept comparison, not hide from it. And that line went nuclear. Clips hit millions of views. Reaction videos multiplied. Even former supporters started saying, "He might be harsh, but he's not wrong." That's when the conflict crossed the point of no return. Angel Reese wasn't just fighting a critic anymore. She was fighting a shift in public perception. A moment where the audience stopped listening to the hype and started watching the floor. And once fans change how they watch you, there's no reset button. Because the scariest twist of all wasn't Whitlock's words, it was the realization that people were starting to believe him. The backlash didn't slow down, it mutated. What started as Jason Whitlock's critique turned into a full-blown credibility war. And Angel Reese found herself trapped in the middle of it with no clean exit. Every clip of Whitlock's commentary fed another reaction video. Every reaction video fed another think piece. And suddenly, Angel Reese wasn't being discussed as a player anymore. She was being dissected as a product. She was being dissected as a product. That's when the second major twist detonated. Instead of the controversy fading, ratings and engagement began telling an unforgiving story. Unrivaled viewership numbers dropped week by week. Games involving Angel Reese lost more than half their audience in just weeks. And the internet noticed, not quietly, loudly. Screenshots of ratings charts went viral. Posts mocking the face of women's basketball narrative exploded. Fans who once defended her now asked the question no one wanted to answer. If Angel Reese is moving the needle, why are people turning the TV off? That question haunted everything. Whitlock seized it like gasoline on a fire. He didn't even need to insult her anymore. He just pointed at the numbers. He framed Angel Reese as the perfect example of media inflation, a star built by coverage, not consequence. And the most damaging part, the data backed him up. Unrivaled games without Angel Reese outperformed her matchups. Caitlin Clark's appearances elsewhere continued to shatter benchmarks. The contrast became unavoidable. Angel Reese responded the only way she knew how: defiance. She doubled down publicly. She repeated that she changed the game. That attention didn't scare her. That hate came with greatness. But the tone felt different. Less playful, more defensive. Fans could hear it. Analysts could see it. The confidence sounded rehearsed, not natural. And when confidence stops sounding organic, audiences smell vulnerability. Then came the moment that changed everything. Reports surfaced that Angel Reese was exploring opportunities outside basketball more aggressively than ever. Acting roles, media deals, entertainment pivots. On paper, it looked like diversification. In reality, critics framed it as escape. The narrative flipped overnight. Headlines stopped asking how high Angel Reese could rise. They started asking if she was already looking for the exit. Whitlock pounced again. He framed the move as proof that the basketball couldn't carry the brand anymore. That when performance doesn't sustain attention, controversy and crossover become survival tools. He compared her path to athletes who chased cameras instead of championships, and the comparison stuck. Even neutral observers began saying the same thing. Angel Reese feels louder off the court than on it. That's when locker room tension rumors began to leak. Nothing confirmed, nothing official, just whispers. That some teammates were tired of the noise. That roles were unclear. That frustration existed behind closed doors. And whether true or not, the damage was done. Because perception is reality online. And once doubt creeps into the idea of leadership, it spreads like wildfire. The second twist wasn't just about ratings or Whitlock, it was about loss of control. Angel Reese no longer owned the conversation. She reacted to it. Whitlock steered it. Fans amplified it. And Caitlin Clark, without saying a word, benefited from it. Every comparison now felt lopsided. One player spoke endlessly about impact. The other simply delivered it. And here's the most brutal part. The more Angel Reese tried to reclaim the narrative, the more the narrative resisted her. Every tweet was scrutinized. Every appearance was judged. Every absence was weaponized. The audience wasn't rooting against her, they were auditing her. That's when insiders started whispering something chilling. That this season wasn't about Angel Reese proving critics wrong anymore. It was about whether she could survive the collapse of the story that made her famous in the first place. And once a narrative collapses, it rarely rebuilds the same way. By the time the dust should have settled, it hadn't even begun to fall. The fallout hit Angel Reese like a second wave she never saw coming. Louder, meaner, and impossible to control. Jason Whitlock's name was now inseparable from the controversy. Every time Angel Reese trended, his clips followed. Every time her highlights surfaced, his critiques resurfaced right behind them. It wasn't coincidence anymore. It was a pattern, and the public felt it. Social media turned ruthless. X timelines flooded with side-by-side comparisons. Caitlin Clark draining logo threes in sold-out arenas. Angel Reese clips slowed down, zoomed in, dissected frame by frame. Missed layups replayed endlessly. Stat lines mocked. Advanced metrics weaponized. Even her double-doubles once celebrated were reframed as empty numbers in blowout losses. The same fans who once defended her now asked brutal questions out loud. And Jason Whitlock kept pushing. He framed Angel Reese as the clearest example of what happens when hype outpaces substance. He accused the media of manufacturing a superstar while ignoring on-court inefficiency. He questioned leadership. He questioned effort. And worst of all, he questioned legitimacy. Every word lit another match. And the internet happily supplied the gasoline. Angel Reese felt it. You could see it in her interviews. The pauses got longer. The smiles didn't last. Her answers sounded sharper, more guarded, less playful. Teammates noticed. Reporters noticed. Even neutral analysts began saying the same thing. This is no longer basketball pressure. This is psychological pressure. The locker room became a rumor factory. Whispers leaked about frustration, about roles, about whether the noise was becoming a distraction. Nothing confirmed, nothing denied, but silence spoke volumes. When leadership is questioned publicly, it bleeds privately. And Angel Reese, once celebrated as fearless, now carried the weight of being the lightning rod for everything wrong. With the narrative, then came the fan split. One side doubled down, defending her aggressively, calling Whitlock a hater, accusing critics of bias, racism, and jealousy. The other side grew louder too, claiming accountability, numbers, and impact mattered more than slogans. The middle ground vanished. You were either protecting Angel or exposing her. There was no neutral anymore. Sponsors watched quietly. So did networks, so did league executives, because public perception isn't just noise, it's currency. And when your name trends for controversy more than performance, brands hesitate, opportunities pause, phone calls slow, the conversation shifts from growth to risk management. Angel Reese wasn't just fighting critics anymore, she was fighting erosion. Whitlock delivered his most cutting blow during this phase. He didn't yell, he didn't insult, he calmly said the words that stuck hardest. If Angel Reese disappeared from basketball tomorrow, the game would still grow. If Caitlin Clark did, it would stall. That sentence went viral instantly. Millions saw it, thousands debated it, and Angel Reese couldn't escape it. Because deep down, even her supporters knew this wasn't about hate anymore, it was about proof. The emotional toll was undeniable, body language changed, social media posts became cryptic, silence replaced bravado, and for the first time, fans started asking a terrifying question. Is Angel Reese losing the room? The fallout wasn't a scandal explosion, it was worse. It was a slow, public unraveling. And as the season pressed forward, one truth became impossible to ignore. Angel Reese wasn't just fighting Jason Whitlock, she was fighting the collapse of belief, and belief, once cracked, never breaks quietly. Because the next phase wouldn't be about criticism, it would be about consequences. Just when it looked like Angel Reese had hit the lowest point of the storm, the narrative took one final, vicious turn, and this one cut deeper than anything Jason Whitlock had said before. Because the final twist wasn't spoken, it was felt. Behind closed doors, league insiders started whispering something chilling. Angel Reese's name no longer carried leverage, it carried hesitation. Front offices weren't debating how to build around her, they were debating how much noise comes with her. Media executives weren't asking how to feature her, they were asking whether the backlash was worth the risk. That's when the real damage became clear. Jason Whitlock didn't need another monologue. The system started echoing him. Ratings confirmed it. Engagement trends backed it. Games without Angel Reese held steadier audiences. Platforms stopped centering her automatically. And the most painful part, the league didn't collapse without her spotlight. It adjusted, quietly, efficiently, almost effortlessly. Then came the moment no one expected. A viral clip surfaced of Angel Reese watching a Caitlin Clark highlight reel during a broadcast break. No commentary. No words. Just her expression. Tight jaw, distant eyes. A stare that said everything without saying anything. The internet froze it, slowed it down, and replayed it endlessly. Fans didn't mock it, they analyzed it. And the consensus was brutal. Mock it, they analyzed it. And the consensus was brutal. That wasn't anger, that was realization, because Caitlin Clark didn't have to speak, didn't have to clap back, didn't have to trend. Her dominance did the talking. Every sold-out arena, every ratings spike, every record broken without explanation. While Angel Reese was fighting perception, Caitlin Clark was rewriting reality. Whitlock's final statement landed like a hammer. He said, Angel Reese wasn't a villain, she was a warning. A warning about confusing attention with impact. A warning about believing headlines instead of hard truths. A warning about letting narrative replace nuance. And for the first time, even critics admitted it, that framing hurt because it felt uncomfortably accurate. Angel Reese responded differently. No rant, no defiance, just silence. Days passed, then weeks. Posts slowed, interviews stopped. The fire that once fueled her public persona dimmed into something unreadable. And in that quiet, the speculation exploded. Was she regrouping? Was she stepping away? Was she rethinking everything? Or was this the beginning of a reinvention no one saw coming? One insider leak shook everything. Angel Reese was reportedly considering a complete reset, not just teams, not just roles, but identity. Less talking, less branding, more basketball, or less basketball altogether. Media, entertainment. A pivot away from the court that once made her famous. The irony was brutal. The same spotlight she chased might have pushed her somewhere else entirely. Fans split again. Some begged her to ignore Whitlock and fight back on the court. Others said the damage was done. that the comparison to Caitlin Clark had already defined her permanently. And once you're framed as not her, escaping that shadow becomes nearly impossible. Here's the final gut punch. Angel Reese still has talent, still has potential, still has time. But time doesn't guarantee relevance, and relevance doesn't survive without results. The cliffhanger isn't whether Jason Whitlock was right, it's whether Angel Reese can rewrite the ending. Will she return quieter, sharper, undeniable? Will she abandon the battlefield altogether? Or will history remember her as the player who talked like a superstar, in an era dominated by one? Because the next chapter isn't being written by critics, it's waiting on Angel Reese, and silence has never been louder. Now it's your turn, because this story doesn't end on the court. It ends with how you see it. Angel Reese isn't finished because Jason Whitlock said so. She isn't finished because ratings dipped. She isn't finished because Caitlin Clark dominates headlines. She's at a crossroads. And crossroads define legacies. This moment will decide whether Angel Reese becomes a cautionary tale, or a comeback story people never saw coming. Will she strip the noise away and let her game do the talking? Will she reinvent herself and shock everyone who already wrote her ending? Or will the pressure, comparisons, and non-stop scrutiny quietly push her into a different lane entirely? That's why this matters more than one argument, more than one critic, more than one season. Women's basketball is changing in real time, and this rivalry, this tension, this divide is shaping the future of the league. Some fans want authenticity, others want dominance. Some want storylines, others want silence and buckets. And right now, Angel Reese sits at the center of all of it. So tell us, straight, was Jason Whitlock exposing uncomfortable truths or crossing the line? Is Angel Reese being unfairly targeted or protected by hype? And can anyone truly match Caitlin Clark's impact right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. If you think Angel Reese still has another level, say it. If you think the narrative has already decided her fate, say that to Dot. And if you want the next chapter, the next breakdown, the next twist in this WNBA storm, hit like, subscribe, and stay locked in, because this isn't just basketball anymore. It's legacy.